Capos get a bad rap. Yes, beginners use them to play in keys that are difficult to play on the guitar when they could just use their finger and play some open shapes above their own finger. There are situations where it is a beginner move to use the capo. That's fine. Beginners riding bicycles wear training wheels, so don't be ashamed of using training wheels if you need them. Additionally, there's tons of cool stuff that you can do with a capo that you can't do without a capo. You can do little half capo things where you only capo some of the strings to give yourself an alternate tuning that misaligns the strings with each other in interesting ways. If you want to play an open shape, that was a chord that uses open strings but you're farther up the neck, like something like that, but you want to play it in a higher key, you don't have a third hand to bar that second fret to move this up 2 frets. You got to use a capo for that. The guitar is biased towards keys that use the open strings. That's why C, G, keys like that are easy to play in, because they include the 5 open string notes that you get. 6 strings, the 2 E's are the same note, so only 5 notes. If you want to change what those notes are and change the open string tuning things that you can do, use a capo. Or tune your guitar up, which only works a couple half steps before you damage your guitar. If anybody's telling you that you shouldn't ever use a capo, they might be biased by their own genre, because there are some genres of music where it almost never makes sense to use a capo because you don't really play shapes further up the neck that use the open strings. So if you're playing a lot of, Green Day bar chords, stuff like that, you probably shouldn't be using a capo. But if you're ever presented with a situation where there's one way to use a capo and one way not to use a capo, and you find that one of those ways is harder than the other, like everything in music, if there's a harder way and an easier way, just practice both and get better at music. And then play the one that you like playing when it comes time to play it. There aren't really any rules, and if anybody gives you a hard time about having a capo at the end of your guitar, tell them to go fuck themselves, because they don't know what you're going to do with that thing, and it might be awesome.